I couldn't. I love the night. That's the only time I feel really alive.
That's what David wanted.
Blood, I was to find, was a necessity as well.
A vampire in love with a slayer. It's rather poetic. I am the monster that breathing men would kill. I am Dracula.
Good evening, my fellow vampire lovers. The sun is going down, and you know what that means. It's time for me to record another episode of my podcast, The Beautiful Dead. As always, I'm your host, Lena Nazari. You can find me on all the things, The Beautiful Dead Podcast, or go into the video description and click on the Discord link to join the Discord, where we talk about vampires every day, all day. Amongst other things, but mostly vampires. This is my second time trying to record this episode because Norman was being such a butthole. So you guys who saw the What We Do in the Shadows episode, you got to see him show up. And I'll share a little snippet now of what I was dealing with, especially if they're free on YouTube. And I saw a few faces that I recognized. Oh, now Norman is leaning up against the monitor and it is touchscreen. So now, Norman, he might have to go. Now he's like changed the size of the words, and yeah, he might have to go. You can just see his foot in the corner right here. He's being such a butthole. All right, we're gonna try and allow him to stay, but he might have to get kicked out. All right. Now he is licking in between his legs, like right in my face. I can't work like this. Oh, vampires, don't use cats as a familiar because they are the worst. Meanwhile, Juliet, sound asleep at my feet, not causing any problems. That's all I'm going to say. For the cat versus dog people, I just want to say, dog, sound asleep at my feet, always listens. Cat, currently licking his junk in my face right behind my mic while I'm trying to record. For those of you on the podcast, audio only, you obviously can't see, but you can go to YouTube to check it out. Norman was causing me all kinds of problems, so he is now out of the room. Hopefully he stays that way. And so we're going to try again. We're going to try to get through my review of a movie I had never heard of until it was requested. And please let me know your requests because I do pay attention and I do watch them. And this one was requested by Kavion Taylor 181. So thank you so much for asking me to cover Vampires Out for Blood. We open this movie with a man named Hank Holton. So we're going to call him Hank. He's in a hospital. He's being questioned by a doctor, and the doctor needs to determine Hank's sanity. He lays down photos of dead people, and Hank says, well, we got to go back. And the doctor says, why don't we go back to the park? So now we're in a flashback. It's broad daylight. Hank is outside. He's at a park, and he's watching a woman jog. He sees the woman kiss another man. He's clearly very upset. And just as this is happening, some guy comes up behind him and pulls a gun and tries to rob him. But Hank is crazy and he's unstable. And so he like pulls the muzzle of the gun to his forehead and he's like, shoot me, go ahead, shoot me. And then he beats the crap out of the mugger. Many witnesses are watching, they're in shock. Hank pulls a badge, explains that he is a police officer and that this mugger is now under arrest. Cut to the police station and his captain, played by...
Cut the bull, Hank. We both know why you were out there in that park.
Whatever. Hey, if we're done here, I got a report to finish.
Wake up and smell the attorneys.
Welcome back to the podcast, Lance Henriksen, who we know from Near Dark. So we have a vampire crossover. The captain is like, I know you were at the park watching Susan. You need to let that shit go. And he threatens to suspend Hank. And he says, and why do you smell like booze? Like, it's the afternoon. And the captain says, get an apartment, stop stalking your ex-wife. Please don't make me regret not putting you on suspension. And Hank is like, I swear I'm going to get my shit together. So he gets assigned a case. And the case is about a college co-ed named Layla who went missing at a rave. So Hank is like, Captain, I swear I'm going to do this by the book. And then he goes off to the break room to make some coffee. In the break room, a daytime talk show is on the TV, and it's featuring an author named Susan, who we just saw running in the park, and she writes vampire romance novels. Let's not go after people who write vampire romance novels, okay?
You seem to be very obsessed with vampires. I mean, you really romanticize them in your books. As a matter of fact, in the new book, the heroine not only falls in love with the vampire, she has sex with a vampire, which you call, let me make sure I've got this, transcending anything imaginable in this mere mortal world.
She explains that she's been fascinated with vampires since she was a little girl, and she tells the talk show host that she is now dating a famous actor named Jake.
Your dating life. You have dated all of the most eligible bachelors in Hollywood, and right now, the rumor on the street, TV heartthrob Jake Vincent.
Yeah, Jake and I are seeing each other.
We see a picture of Jake. That is the man she was kissing in the park. Hank throws coffee at the TV, so Susan obviously is his ex-wife. That night he's at a club and there's a rave going on, and he's there to try and see if he can figure out what happened to Layla. And while he's walking around and we see everybody dancing, and it's very early 2000s. He goes to the bar and he looks down the bar and there's a couple, and then up to the couple approaches Layla, the missing girl, and Layla looks phenomenal. So he follows her out into like this space behind the club and sees her knock out a homeless man who's like trying to accost her. We see she's strong, she moves very quickly, and then she like turns supernaturally quick and then shows up behind Hank. At this point in time, Layla's brother and his girlfriend arrive, and we see the brother's pupils glow. And when I say glow, I don't mean like there's a sparkle in his eye or they're like a bright color. What I mean is they glow like neon glow, like glow sticks. So that was a moment where I was like, oh, 2000s. Oh, I've missed you. He tells Layla, we need to get back to the Bat Cave. And Layla turns to Hank and goes,
You coming or not?
Well, actually, I just wanted to talk to you. But I suppose we could do that in the limo.
Are you coming with us? And Hank goes, well, I just wanted to ask you some questions. And then Layla's eyes glow. And then Hank is like, okay, I'll join you. So all four of them are back in a limo, and we see them drinking and they're smoking pot. And Layla starts to make out with Hank. They arrive to an abandoned hospital, and Layla leads Hank in, and it's basically a vampire nest. So it's full of candles and sheer curtains and people making out and BDSM shenanigans and hookahs and sexy music, like, you know, typical vampire orgy stuff. And Layla pushes him back onto a bed and climbs on top of him and starts undressing him. Above him, he sees this cloaked like ghoul watching, and then when he looks back, the ghoul is gone. Then people start screaming as the vampires start to turn and attack, so we see who's vampire and who's human. And we get to see them all vamped out. And then he shoots Layla. The vampires surround him, so he starts to fire when Layla's brother knocks him back. The vampires are again approaching when the ghoul says, he's mine. It leaps on him, bites him, and he reaches back and pulls a curtain aside, letting the sun in. So they all run, and he kind of falls back to the ground. And when he comes to, he is laying in an empty room in an abandoned hospital. He's got one hell of a bite on his throat. And he starts to move through the hospital, and this security officer shows up. And so Hank shows him the badge. They both put their guns down. And Hank is like, I remember being walked in here and there was people, but he doesn't remember much else. And the security guard is like, listen, I watched this place during the day. I got here 10 minutes ago. Nobody comes here at night. I'm the only one with the key. So there is no way that there was a bunch of people here. And I don't even know how you got in here. So Hank calls it in. So now we cut to a whole bunch of cops there. And Hank is being patched up by EMS. And everybody's searching the hospital, and they're finding no signs that anyone was ever in that building other than Hank. And they're having trouble believing his story. So he goes in to look for himself. And he starts to hear Layla faintly calling his name and kind of taunting him. The captain comes in. The captain can't hear anything.
What are you doing?
And now so Hank is like trying to find the source of this voice, and then he's hearing more voices, and it's like layering on top of each other. And other cops are seeing him acting crazy. And he tells the captain, I think they were vampires. So, first off, like, good for you. You put it together very quickly. And I would have done the same thing, right? But he points at the neck wound, and the captain is like, yeah, drunks fall down all the time. So Hank's like, yes, I drank beer, I smoked some pot, but I'm telling you, like, I think they were vampires, and I was in here and I shot at them. And he says, Layla put a spell on me with her eyes, and I think the one that's their master bit me and drank my blood. So he is putting it together very quickly. So applause to him. The captain is like, you're making up stories to cover up for the fact that you got drunk, stumbled into this hospital, fired your gun into an empty building, and then passed out. They dig his bullets out of the wall. There's no signs of blood or tissue anywhere. So his gun and badge are taken, which I don't even blame the captain because he is acting absolutely insane right now. He is told, get professional help. Do not come back until you have gotten your shit together. So then we cut to him in the car drinking beer. So he's got a little problem with listening. So he looks up into the rearview mirror and his pupils are like bright white for a second. And he like blinks his eyes and then they've changed back. Then he takes another swig of beer and then spits the beer out. So clearly the turn is starting. So that tells us it is a one bite is all it takes situation, and the turn has already begun. All of a sudden Layla is outside his driver's side window and knocks on the window, and then she's gone before he can grab the gun and jump out of his car. So he's looking around, gets back in the car, and now she's inside the car. And she goes, first it's the thirst. You want beer and water, but then, and ... She chastises him for shooting her the night before, smacks the gun out of his hand, and tells him the next few days are gonna feel like years. That is the worst of it. But then you're gonna wake up a whole new person. First you're gonna want beer, then you're gonna want the blood of a sweet young thing. She disappears and shows up outside the car.
What the hell is happening to me?
You don't know? You're becoming one of us. That's why I can't hurt you. The master won't let us hurt one of our own kind.
She explains, you're turning, so I can't kill you because the master won't let us kill one of our own. We learn that the master is 700 years old, and she says that they will live forever, they will always look young, and the sex is incredible. Two cops pull up. They get out. She kills them both. He pulls his gun, and then the master shows up. It goes black. He wakes up the next morning. He's in his car. The security guard is back and is like, what the fuck? Why are you here? What are you doing? He gets out. There's no signs that anyone was killed. Then his skin is starting to itch, and he's like itching at his skin. He's acting aggressive. And the security guard is like, listen, don't you have a wife to go home to? And Hank is like, why didn't I think of that? So cut to him at the park. So the security guard gave him the idea to go talk to his wife. He's sweaty. He looks like he's fiending. He looks horrible. And he tells Susan, I need your help. I don't know how to say this, but I was bitten by a vampire. He shows her his neck and the wound looks ugly. Susan is like, this is so pathetic. Go see a doctor and leave me alone. He begs her to please tell him what to do. He apologizes for never having read any of her books and for being married to the job. A guy jogs up, this is her new boyfriend, and tells Hank, leave Susan alone. Hank throws the guy like inhumanly far, so she maces him. His pupils turn icy blue, so she runs. He goes to a bookstore and buys all of her books. And the two cops from the night before are on the front page of the newspaper when he steps out. So he's like, he knows he's not crazy. He lines the windows of his car with foil, aka Near Dark. That had to be a Near Dark reference. He's chugging down beers, he's trying to read, but then the cops pull up on him. So he puts on sunglasses, gets out of the car, and is taken into the police station. Susan and the captain confront him. Susan has filed a restraining order, but she will drop it if he promises to get help. Medical professionals are on their way, but then she sees that he doesn't have a reflection for a second.
Susan, what I was trying to tell you today is true. It's really happening to me.
What's the matter?
The mirror.
What?
Hank had no reflection.
And she tells the captain, you know what, I'm going to withdraw my complaint. I want him released to my custody. Also, he tells the captain the missing cops were killed by vampires, and the captain is like, get the fuck out. So, cut to him vomiting into a bucket in a hotel room. Susan tries to give him water, but he sees a cup of blood instead, and then he sees Layla, so he freaks. And she is very understanding about this turn that he's going through, and she admits that the water has wolf's bane, and it will slow down the turn. And then we see that he has fangs now. She got the hotel so the cops won't know where they are, and meanwhile she's heating up a silver cross and then puts it against his bite marks. So the wolf's bane in the water and the cross against the bite marks don't stop the turn, but they will at least slow it down while they figure out what to do next. Outside the motel, a private investigator has followed them on behest of her boyfriend, and the boyfriend is on the way. In the hotel room, she cuts her finger and he reacts.
Ow. How's that make you feel?
I don't know. Nauseous.
Good.
Now who doesn't trust who?
It's just a precaution.
One of my favorite tropes. But then she puts the cross on to protect herself. He tells her there's dozens of vampires. They're hunting at raves. He doesn't know where they sleep, but they party at this hospital at night. He tells her only the master, she tells him only the master can turn somebody. And normally they kill their victims. And he's like, yeah, but I pulled the curtain and stopped them. Because the master is the oldest, he is the strongest. Duh. I like when they do it that way. But also tells her about like they can hypnotize you with your eyes. So she's expecting that the vampires are going to be sent out by the master to find Hank. She's like, I'm expecting them to come out looking for you. She says, we have to find the master's resting place and kill him. You kill them with sunlight, beheading, a stake to the heart. Crosses, garlic, and holy water will only hold them at bay. It will not kill them. So there's our rules.
You have to find the leader, find where he sleeps during the day, and kill him. Now, there are 3 things that vampires don't like: crucifixes, garlic, and holy water. But all those things will do is keep them at bay. If you want to kill them, you have to expose them to sunlight.
Or drive a wooden stake through their heart.
Or cut their heads off.
Now the vampires have arrived. They show up in the hotel room. And she reminds Hank that they need to find out where the master is. Layla and her brother, his name is Alex, and they're not really brother and sister. They're just made by the same vampire. They show up inside the room. Layla is holding Susan, and Hank tries to stop Alex, and they struggle. Alex explains the body changes first, then it's the soul.
Or should I?
Ooh, Hank, you're getting stronger, aren't you?
Yeah, it's always the body that changes first.
Don't worry, the soul will soon follow.
And then Alex says to Susan, "You've made money off of us, so now it's time to learn." Which I was like, okay. Hank throws holy water at Layla. It burns her. They both vamp out. So Susan pulls the cross to stop. Layla. Hank gets the best of Alex and is on top of him with a blade when Jake, the boyfriend, comes in with the PI and is like, "What the fuck is happening?" Jake gets knocked out. The PI gets eaten. Alex gets the upper hand and throws Hank off and then bends the knife. Alex kills Jake. Hank is fighting his bloodlust as Layla is feeding on the PI. So it has turned chaotic very fast. But the sun is coming up. So Alex and Layla tell Hank, "You've got about 24 hours until you're fully turned, and then you'll know where to find us." And they think Susan will probably be Hank's first victim, and then they leave. Hank begs Susan to please leave before he can't control himself anymore. And she says, "Let's find the master and kill him, and that will save you." So she thinks the nest has to be at the hospital. And he's like, "We looked everywhere." And she's like, "I'm telling you, it has to be at the hospital, so we need to go back." Hank thinks about it, and he's like, "You know what? The security guard comes during the day, and nobody's there at night. Why?" And they realize it's more than likely that the security guard is protecting the vampire's resting place, which is why he comes during the day. He drinks more of the Wolfbane. He tells her, "We need to stop at the sporting goods store." So now we cut to them outside the hospital, and we see now there's 2 guards. So they know that there's too much happening at this hospital. Way too many things are occurring. We need to have a second person watching us while we sleep. So Susan explains they're probably wraiths.
What are you doing?
They could be wraiths.
Wraiths? What the hell's a wraith?
It's sort of like a demon. Vampires have been known to employ them during the day to guard their nests in exchange for leftovers.
Which vampires like to hire to look after them, and in return, the wraiths get to eat the humans after the vampires have fed. She puts on the cross and says wraiths don't like crosses any more than vampires do. So she walks up to the hospital to the security guard and she's like, "I'm sorry, I need help." And then she like pulls the cross out.
Excuse me, could you help me? My car seems to have overheated and I'm a little bit lost.
Sure, where would you like to go?
Well, I need to find the,
I can't help you, lady. Beat it.
And the guard looks away and says, "You need to get the fuck out of here." So at first he was being really nice, but once he saw the cross, he was like, "You need to get lost." One of them gets red eyes and then a demon voice, so she leaves.
Don't make me tell you again.
She gets back in the car. She tells Hank, "We're gonna have to kill the wraiths, but they are twice as strong as humans and their blood is like acid, so don't get it on you." The upside is they don't like heights. So we cut to them sneaking onto the roof and looking down onto the wraiths. And we see one of the wraiths eat a spider. So it's like a little bit of a Renfield situation there. Hank drops a noose, which goes around the wraith's neck. They hoist him up, so one down. The other one shows up on the roof, and Hank and him enter into hand-to-hand combat. Some of the wraith blood gets on him, and it does burn. Susan shoots, but he catches the bullet with his teeth, so Hank just kicks him over the edge while he's distracted. The wraith falls down and into a sub-basement that they didn't know existed. So Susan is like, that has to be where they're sleeping. So if there is a way down into that sub-basement, we need to find it. And he's like, "Listen, the sun is going to set soon." So he handcuffs her to a pipe and says, "I'm not going to let you go in there. I've already put you into too much danger." He gives her a phone and says, "If I'm not back out by sundown, call John." So that must be the captain. She explains he has to kill them all. Killing the master will only save him. And don't pull out the stake, because if you pull it out of the master, he will just rise again. She explains that once he kills one vampire, the rest will be willing to kill him. So you know how there's like a rule, like we can't kill our own? Well, that rule is null and void if you kill one of your own. So as soon as he kills a vampire, he needs to kill them all now. He enters the hospital and he does find a way to break into the sub-basement, and then he descends down into the darkness. And he finds this room with everyone's coffins in it. So we know that they sleep in coffins. He cracks a bunch of glow sticks so he can see, and then outside we see the sun is starting to go down. He approaches the first coffin. It's a blonde guy we've not seen. So he uses the classic stake and mallet, good old classic vampire kill. And then he starts working through a bunch of them. Well, now the sun is almost down. When he lifts the next coffin, it is empty. And Alex shows up behind him and says, I see you've been busy.
What can I say? I'm a light sleeper.
Alex uses a crossbow and fires a bolt into Alex. Sorry. Hank uses a crossbow and fires into Alex. Alex dies very dramatically and bursts into flames. We didn't see anybody else burst into flames, but Alex does. Then the master shows up next to Susan and pulls the cross necklace off of her. Hank lifts another coffin lid to see Layla, but as he grabs the stake, she disappears and shows up behind him. They fight, but he starts to vamp out and he stakes her. He says, tell me where he is and I'll remove the stake. And she goes,
I'll see you in hell.
Tell me where he is and I'll remove the stake.
Tell me! Where is he?
He's right behind you.
right behind you. So the master floats in. He says, you've been a very bad boy. And he has Susan now, which that was the first thing I thought. When Hank handcuffed Susan, I was like, well, now she's a sitting duck. And that's what happened. The master showed up on the roof and grabbed her. Like, dude, you gave her no way to fight. Anyhow, so he floats in. He has bitten Susan. And the master says, if you kill me, you'll kill her.
Yes, Susan, go ahead and kill me. And Hank and I will spend an eternity now together.
Kill him.
Or you can just undo the mess you've done, Hank. And all of us can go on living here as one big, happy family.
He breaks his hold over Susan, who explains anyone who was bitten by him will die. It's only the one that kills him who gets to live. He pulls Susan over, gives her the crossbow, and says, then kill him. The master is like, if you kill me, Hank and I will burn in hell forever. Or you could just stop right now, and the three of us can live forever, and you two will get to be together forever. Just give in. Susan turns to Hank and says, just give in. Hank tells the master, you won't kill me. Killing me is like killing yourself. The master says to Susan, kill Hank.
Susan, do as I say. Kill him!
shoves the crossbow over her hands, and they pull the trigger together. So they fire on the master. The master starts to have like all this electricity and lightning, and it's starting to bring the building down around him. So they run, and they're running, and just as they're about to make it out, Susan stops. She chooses to stay inside, and she chooses to die as Hank barely makes it out. So now we cut to our opening scene, okay? He's cuffed in the station, being interrogated about his missing wife. Oh, I'm sorry, we're not at the beginning scene yet. He is cuffed in the captain's office or the station or whatever, and he's being interrogated about his missing wife. They have spent hours looking through the rubble in the basement. There's no signs of any bodies. They don't believe the vampire stories. They think that he started reading her books, and because of his drinking and his drug use and his inability to accept the divorce, that he's like having a psychotic break, and he's mixing this all up together. Hank says, when Susan and I were here, and the captain's like, what do you mean? I haven't seen you and since I asked you to go look for that missing girl. There was a desk clerk at a hotel in Hollywood where they were at who described Hank and Susan checking in, and then 3 hours later, Susan's boyfriend and the PI were found dead. And Hank is like, well, you're not going to find anything because vampires don't have fingerprints. And the captain is like, you snapped, you killed your ex-wife and her new boyfriend, and now you're trying to use the insanity defense, which is what you're doing right now. Hank pulls off the bandage. There's no longer a wound on his neck. And this is where we now cut to our opening scene. So he is in the hospital with the doctor from the beginning, and he thinks his wound was healed by killing the master. He thinks Susan went back in, pulled the arrow out of the master so that he would bite her again because she wants to be a vampire. The doctor leaves after he tells Hank that he thinks Hank loved his wife very much and could not handle that Susan was moving on. And between the alcoholism and the lack of sleep, he had a psychotic break. Hank lays down in his bed in his room. He dozes off when Susan shows up in his room and wakes him up. She tells him he doesn't know what he's missing, living forever, never growing old, and then she kisses him. The master mind controlled the captain, so he doesn't remember anything. Susan is thrilled to be a vampire, and she's there because she knows that he will never let her be. She vamps out, and she's going to bite him when he pulls a stake out from under his pillow and stakes her.
That's why I'm here, Hank. Because you love me. Because you're stubborn and obsessive. And I knew if you ever got out of here, you'd never give up until you found me again.
How's that for romantic?
They roll down onto the ground, and the doctor is watching from a monitor room, and on the monitor it just looks like Hank is staking the ground, basically, because she's not showing up on the camera. It looks like he's completely lost it and he's hallucinating. The captain says, we just need him to tell us where the body is. They come into the room, and Hank is like, I told you she would come for me. But he looks down, there's nothing on the floor. He doesn't have any blood on him. Like, now he thinks he's going crazy. The orderly sedates him. They lay him back down, and the captain is now talking to his sedated self, and he says, sooner or later. But then he sees an earring on the ground. The doctor clarifies there are no female nurses on the floor. Nobody has visited. They have no idea where that earring came from. So everybody leaves, and it's just the captain and Hank who has passed out. And the captain is like looking around, and he sees the wooden chair, and he sees that the leg has been broken off to make a stake.
Does this look familiar?
No.
Did he have any visitors?
Civilians? No. Only you. Me.
Maybe it's one of the nurses.
There are no female nurses on this floor.
No?
And he gets down to look under the bed, and Susan attacks. And that is credits. Yeah! I mean, okay, all right. Let's do the ratings and tropes, and then let's talk about this like very unexpected movie. Tropes I love and tropes I hate. I love the vampire expert / author being pulled into the world. This was famously done in Fright Night. I love it, love it, love it. We get to see, oh, and I had a bloody good time at House Harker. Remember the vampire romance author shows up to the party and then ends up, she's like, I have such a connection with vampires. Like, if there was one here right now, I would sense it. And meanwhile, it's like behind her and kills her. So good. I love this trope. I love that trope. I also love the vampire nest, like the whole coven, the sexy orgy stuff. I love daytime guards. I always love that idea too. And you know I love hunting in a club. I love the trope of vampires hunting in a club, a nightclub, a dance, a concert. I just love that. We get to see the vampire responding to the human cutting their finger trope. Very, very well used one. Lots of good tropes in this one. I'm here for tropes. Most of them. Which one do I not like? We know this. I don't like one bite is all it takes. I really don't like that. And to the vampire's credit, they did not plan on turning him. You know, he stopped the process, but I hate one bite is all it takes because of this very thing. It makes it really hard. You constantly have to make sure your victims are dead, and then you have to take care of the bodies and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's just messy. All right, let's do the ratings. How scary or evil were the vampires of Vampires Out for Blood? Well, they hunt in packs, they kill whenever they feed, and they kill nightly. That's a lot of death. They have daytime guards. They have well-hidden resting places. Now, they're repelled by crosses and garlic. They're burned by the sun. They're repelled by holy water. They die by beheading or a stake to the heart. But if you pull out the stake, they come back. I mean, they can mind control people. So that's a pretty solid vampire. Now, it seems like only the master can turn somebody, so the master's bite is what's needed to turn. But, I mean, they could be, like, if these vampires showed up in your area, they could be a very, very big problem for humans. So I'm gonna give them a 6.5 stakes out of the heart for scariness and evil. And for like kind of like a cheesy 2000s movie, that is a solid vampire. I mean, bravo. Now, how sexy or alluring are these vampires? Well, they can mind control you. So that means that whatever they're doing to you, they could make it feel very nice. You could be smiling as you're dying. We see a very sexy orgy situation, but they slaughter everybody before you get to the good part. So I don't think they're ever gonna actually have sex with you. They use the sex to get you in, but you're not gonna actually get it. You're just gonna die. So I'm gonna give them 3 out of 10 onks for sexiness and allure. They are young and you get to have some fun beforehand. But those are your last few minutes. You are not making it out of that orgy. So 3 out of 10 onks for sexiness and allure. Okay, so my thoughts. So this was very early 2000s. Very early 2000s vampires, and I love that. It's probably just my upbringing. You know, I was 20 in the year 2000, so it was like when I was really coming into my prime and I was able to ingest like everything I wanted to about vampires. It felt like something you would see late night on Cinemax when you were like at a friend's house. It had a very solid cast. I don't know if I mentioned it, but Matt Dillon's brother, Kevin? I'm sorry if you ever watch this. I think his name is Kevin. Kevin Dillon was in it, Lance Henriksen. Good, very solid cast. Everyone did a great job. It's very easy to follow. It keeps your attention. This is another one that I was certain was going to be just horrible, but I was wrong. I enjoyed it. I will definitely watch it again. It's free on YouTube, so you can put on some pleather and clip some wild colored streaks in your hair and strap on a choker around your throat and step right back into 2004 for the night. If I ever do, which I really, really want to, if I ever do a 2000s vampire themed party, I will have this one playing in the background on the screens for sure. So thank you for the request. Please keep them coming. And in the comments, I want you to tell me your favorite time period for vampire movies. 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000. What is your favorite decade when it comes to vampire movies? I'm so curious. So next week we're gonna wrap up April and we are gonna bring another request. We're gonna bring another request to the podcast. I have done the original, but I have not done this one. So we are talking about Let Me In, the remake of Let the Right One In with Chloe Grace Moretz. I don't remember what year it was. It might have been right around the same time this one was being made. So we are doing Let Me In. So come back next week. It's on Tubi. Go watch it, refresh your memory, and then come back next week. Do you think that I liked the American remake or not? Put your guesses in the chat down below, in the comments down below. In the meantime, I wish you wicked hugs and bloody kisses. Good evening.